Good morning, do you like it? Do you love my new look? I know it's beautiful, isn't it? We've got a bit of daylight today. It's a little bit bright. It's only 7 o'clock in the morning, so not that bright, but I'm trying on some new makeup, so I kind of felt like we wanted proper light, not artificial light. I bought 2 expensive things from Boots. This is the whole video, 2 things, but it's the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturiser, and I went bananas and I bought the Chanel Rouge Coco Balm in Pink Delight. Now, if you've, okay, I was like, why is this not focusing? It's focusing now. If you followed me for any length of time, you will know my obsession with trying to find tints. So something that is like a really easy wash of something on my skin, and then more recently, very obsessively looking for a lip tint. Over the years, I must have spent hundreds of pounds looking for the ideal ones of these things. And I saw this on Boots the other day, the NARS. I thought, oh, I've always wanted to try that since it launched. And I've just never got around to it. And I watched a review. This launched 9 years ago. And I thought, 9 years? Okay, I'm just going to buy it. So I did. I bought the shade, it's the shade 1. This is the lightest shade they do. Terra Nerve. Terra Nerve? I think they're all named after places, so I could be butchering that, but Terra Nerve, I'm going to guess. Terra Nerve? Because when I googled it, people said this was the very closest to Mont Blanc, which is my closest shade match in NARS, or it was. I haven't had a NARS foundation in a minute, and my skin could be darker now, so I'm slightly concerned, but then it is a sheer product, so we'll see. I don't know. I usually do say I would rather have something that's too light than too dark. The problem with too light is if it falls into fine lines and like pores and dryness, that is much uglier on the skin than if you've picked something that's a little bit too dark. That's the only problem. For the rest of the time, you put on something that's like heavy coverage that doesn't settle and it's too pale, and you can always kind of like bronze it up and make it work. But if it's a tinted thing and it kind of gathers, a too pale product doesn't end up looking very good. So we'll see. We'll see. I might have made a terrible mistake, but I'm excited to try it. And the reviews were really, really good. Apparently, a couple of years ago, it got a bit of a revitalised range of shades, and so people were talking about it again. That's a lot of product, actually. But okay, no, it's quite yellowy, actually. I'm just so nervous that it's going to just... I've had so many tinted products that just basically, like, you wipe it away and it's just left tiny little dots in your pores. But yeah, the reviews were really, really good. I actually finally pulled the trigger. I was watching a skincare video and she was talking about various things that she uses morning and night. And her morning, she lives in New York, and she was saying, this is like a dermatologist, and she was saying that for like city living people who are like, you're not outside, you're just like between buildings, but you still want to be wearing SPF every day, especially as you get older, because it's the best form of anti-aging. And for someone like me who's prone to melasma and pigmentation, I like to wear an SPF. But it is, it's still a step that you have to remember to do. And she said that her daily SPF is within this product. So I'm sure if she went on holiday, or if she was actually going to be like outside all day, she would wear an additional SPF. And some of you will disagree with this, but I am of the school of thought that something is better than nothing. And if a dermatologist tells me the SPF 30 in this, if you are applying it at the right volume, which is why I put so much on the back of my hand, it should be 2 fingers worth of product, then you should be covered. But that's part of the reason that I purchased it, because she thought that it was obviously significant enough coverage that it would do it for her. I love this. I think this is really nice. I'm going to take some up-close pictures. Tell you what, when you take up-close pictures of your face, you really have to make friends with your face, because the amount of pictures I've seen of my face where I'm just like, it's not. I'm just like, that's my face. That's just what my face looks like. Right, first of all, one of the things that I've been doing recently in the last 12 months, because my microblading has faded to, I mean, you can see it really obviously now that this one's not, It's faded to like a reddish pink. I have been looking into having my microblading removed, which I'm kind of torn about because the shape of it I really like, but the colour is faded so badly. I looked into having it redone, but then this could still be underneath. I think I'm going to try and have it removed. If anyone can recommend anyone in South Yorkshire, I'm all ears. But what I've been doing, because I don't have a tremendous amount of hair on my brow, is just kind of washing whatever I'm wearing over so that it knocks out that redness. Because then I've still got the shape there. I've still got my kind of microbladed brow shape, but I don't have the redness. The issue being when I'm not wearing makeup. So that's the only problem. But yeah, you can see, I mean, from that alone, you can see the difference. But it is just, it still looks like my skin. If you just look at that side of my face, you can still see all my imperfections through the product. But you can also tell that this side is less even than this side. Time will tell. Let's see how it wears as to whether or not I actually love this product, but first impressions are very favourable. It also was making me laugh the other day because I was watching someone, I can't remember who it was, but she was applying all of her makeup with her fingers and she was like, oh, this is just the way that she's a makeup artist. This is the way I like to do it because it's a more natural affiliation. It kind of blends nicely, yada yada. And when I first started on YouTube, which was very nearly 14 years ago, I used to apply everything with my hands just because that's the way I'd always done it. And this was in the days where like the options were, you had like sponges, you know, those white block sponges. You had flat foundation brushes, and buffing brushes were kind of new. We didn't have like Real Techniques and Real Techniques we definitely didn't have, but we didn't have like a beauty blender type product. When that came out, that was like a revelation. We didn't have anything like that. It was just like flat foundation brushes, which I'd never found any luck with. I never found that to be any good for me at all. And those white sponges. So I just always applied everything. I had like a brush for my bronzer, a blush if I wore it, but it was mostly bronzer at that time. And I applied my foundation and my concealer and everything with my hands. And people were like, this is terrible. So unhygienic. It really tickled me to watch now so many people online use their hands. And back in the day when it was a new thing that all the people on YouTube were like using these huge collections of brushes. Everyone was like, oh, this is the brush that you have to have. Suddenly, the way that so many of us had been applying makeup for so long was unhygienic. I mean, if you saw the state of my brushes, my hands are definitely cleaner. And looking at this side, let's see if I can zoom in and show you. You see here, I've got some dryness, and it is settling a little bit right there and around my nose into this dryness. This could end up being not great. All here. I mean, that's my skin, ultimately. You know, it's not the product's fault that I'm dry, but it's definitely something to keep in mind, and it's something that I'm going to keep an eye on. I'm actually coming home at lunch to get a delivery. So if it's gone really terribly wrong, I can fix it. I can come back and remedy that. But yeah, I'm not sure whether or not it's going to look great once we've been with this for a few hours. The regrets may set in for wearing this in the office for the first time. I'm so torn about Beauty Pie and keeping the subscription. I did get 3 months free with the sign-up offer that I did, but Sam Chapman's just launched some new products with them, and I'm like, oh, I should have waited. Always I should have waited. But do I need them? No. Are they unique to my collection? No. Someone said the other day when I was doing my Get Ready With Me that they wished that I would do more videos like that because my collection's so varied, and that is totally true. I have a really wide selection of things from like years and years because I can't get rid of things. I'm a makeup hoarder. And I think I'm going to start organising. I might do this as like a declutter / organisation video, like a series, because it's a lot. I might start organising things like by type. So I'd really like to put all my lip liners together. Lip liner is one of those things that I find myself like buying unnecessarily. When really, if I had access to all of them all at once, I'd be like, oh, I've already got something that does that. I need to move myself so that I can see the light a little bit better on both sides of my face, or I'll be really blushed on one side and not the other. I heard that mascara is over now. That's a no. I did see something where someone was saying that eyeshadow was for old people. And I think that's true, but I think that's always been true. Because aside from like if you were going for something really glam, I don't think day to day when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I was wearing eyeshadow. I think it was probably a bit of eyeliner maybe, definitely mascara, bronzer to make myself look a little bit more awake. Not bronzer like change the colour of my face, but like just like probably as much, maybe a touch more than I'd wear now. But I don't know if I was like doing eyeshadow day to day. So some things come across as like, oh, this is a generational thing. Like this is over. This is a new trend. But I don't think it is. I think it's just, that's always been the case. People play around with things in their bedrooms, or like if you're actually going on a night out, but day to day, were you wearing eyeshadow every day in your like teens to school? Also, if I do have to come home at lunch and redo my makeup, if I don't have to redo my eyeshadow, that'd be great. Because then it just means I do redo my base and a little bit of this. That's it. Now, we've come to the very exciting thing, the Rouge Coco Balm. So I was looking at different ones of these. This has got dirt on it. What is that all about? It's got little bits of something on it. Oh, it's fine. I was like, please don't be destroyed. It's beautiful. So I was looking at like reviews of like what would be the very, very best thing of this that I'm looking for, and so many blogs said this. So then I was looking at the different shades, and then I found, and I'm sure you guys already know this, but I was totally out of the loop last year with most makeup things, that this was Sophia Richie's wedding makeup lip. Who knew? Not me. And she obviously looked beautiful, although we have very different skin tones. So Pink Delight was her one. And I'm so, like, you know when you use something for the first time, like, that's how I feel. And the reviews I saw were really mixed. I think that the most of the ones that were not positive, though, people had quite pigmented lips. As you can see from my top lip, it's almost just the same colour as my skin. I don't have, that's why I love lip liner. I do not have a defined lip line. I love lip liner. So you can see quite clearly on me the difference between the two. It is a tint. It's a lip balm with a tint in it. But you can see the difference. This could be a problem, but back to the lips. I think this is exactly what I've been looking for. Because I don't have any colour to my actual lips, this is just the hint of something that I wanted while it being really, really balmy. One of the other, a couple of other people who didn't like it, their complaint was that you were going to have to like work it in, like work it in, work it in, work it in, and you were going to use up a lot of the product. Anything like this, like balms, it's a harder product. It's not the same as a lipstick. A lipstick is softer. It's giving more to your lips. Anything like this is going to be a harder thing in the tube. So although you kind of like working it, you're probably only getting the same amount on you as you would with a regular lipstick. It just feels more, you know? But it was super expensive for what it is. Super, super expensive. So, I mean, I'm going to expect this to be like, I mean, it feels really, really nice. It doesn't taste weird. You know, sometimes like a lip balm, especially a tinted lip balm, it's got a taste, doesn't taste of anything at all. Doesn't smell of anything. And it feels really nice on the lips. It just feels like a nice lip balm. So I'm interested to see how that wears as well. But I'm really, really happy with that. I'm really happy with the tint from NARS. I think this looks great. these are like, I feel like these are going to be like, yes, you should have bought these 10 years ago, 9 years ago. Should have bought these however many years ago, instead of constantly looking for, I want something at the drugstore. That used to make sense. When I used to do a ton of beauty videos and I was always on the hunt for like a dupe for you guys, or, you know, trying to recommend things that were cheaper. That's not me anymore. I'm not doing that. I'm not reviewing so many things. Now I'm just like, I'm personally consuming these things and I'm sharing them as I find what works for me. I'm not specifically buying things anymore for YouTube or for a blog. I'm only buying things that I want to wear. And so why am I still in that mindset of like, you have to buy the cheapest thing so that I can only recommend the cheapest thing? I don't know. But I really like each of these. I will keep you posted if something massively drastic changes. But first impressions for both are fantastic. I will be keeping an eye out on this situation because it could go rogue. But if you'd like a full review, like a day test or something, let me know. I mean, like, even under my eye, my skin looks healthy. Looks great. Really happy with it. Right, because I'm coming back at lunch anyway, I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you my kind of midday thoughts, see what this dryness actually ended up looking like, whether I have to take the whole thing off, start again, and maybe it's going to be something that I can only reach for when my skin is like tip-top condition, because it's not too bad. It's just at the moment I've been shaving my face because I've been using my IPL. It's a whole palaver, but so all down here is not going to be as perfect as maybe I would like it to be. There's going to be some dryness around my goatee. So I will come back at lunch and I will let you know. Okay, excuse me because I'm windswept. It's raining outside. It's got to be the coldest day that we've had. It's so cold today, which is not doing anything for my dry skin, and I'm afraid the worst has happened. Like from here, it's looking good. I'm still, where I look at the areas of my face that even like around my eyes, like where it would settle into fine lines and stuff, I don't think that's too bad at all. I'll zoom you in so you can see what I mean. Like, if this is kind of how it settles, I don't have a problem with it, but you can see like around here, and then I have a goatee of dryness and it has settled all among it, which is quite unattractive. Not ideal. So I do like the product. I think in theory this is something that I'm going to get a lot of use out of, but right now with the texture of my skin, and if you have dryness, if you have kind of texture, I don't think it's like sank into my pores too badly or anything. All of the other things that I would have a problem with, not so much. But if you have some dryness, it's going to settle. It is going to settle. It's not great. It's been about 5 hours since I applied it. So this is not like end of the day or anything, but I did want to check in just to see this area. And yeah, bad news. I am going to reapply it a little bit. I'm just going to reapply this. I didn't take this with me because if I put this in my work bag, I'll never see it again. So I'm just going to put it back on now. Just in time to go back to work and eat lunch and eat it all off my mouth. But I love this. It doesn't last, you know, it's a lip balm. However, when it wears away, it does, where do I put it? Here it is. It does leave my lips feeling really, really hydrated. So I'm gonna reapply the exact same Tinted Moisturiser. I'm just gonna go a little heavier with it because I feel like maybe it settled because there wasn't enough product. I'm just gonna reapply it in the areas that are looking less nice. See how this looks before deciding whether or not I need to like completely redo this whole thing. I don't know whether or not it's going to be savable, to be honest, because you can still see all around here where it's separated in the dryness. I really can't blame this on the product though, because I've been using my tretinoin again, which I hadn't been using consistently, and so I'm kind of going through a little bit of retinol shedding as well as the shaving situation. So I've kind of roughly wiped that off. I'm gonna re-moisturize and go again. I really like this. It's the Prep and Perfect Vitamin E from Primark. It's their version of the Bobbi Brown. I really like that. I think it's a really nice product. However, the scent It smells like Elizabeth Arden or Estee Lauder of my youth. There's a really strong, like traditional makeup scent, but it's very, very perfume. Not even traditional makeup. To me, it smells like a very specific perfume, and I can't put my finger on it. It's something my mum used to wear, and I think it was from Estee Lauder. My mum always had Estee Lauder perfumes because my dad liked to get her the Estee Lauder beauty box at Christmas, and you could only get it when you bought a perfume, of which there are very few. Very few nice Estee Lauder perfumes for me. They're not, it's just not my thing. And so he always got her the same one. And I can't remember what it was, but that is what that smells like. It smells exactly like that to me. And that is too strong of a fragrance to be on a face cream. Just gonna touch up the colour on my cheeks so that it doesn't just go like, oh, now we're covering everything up with foundation again. Also, I know how annoying that is. I apologise. And reapply this fully. I can't in good conscience tell you that you need that. It's nice. It's hydrating. It's a nice little colour. But definitely not worth the Chanel price tag. Especially if you're too scared to leave it in your handbag, because the whole thing is like, oh, it's beautiful. Take it out, you reapply it in public, it's so pretty. But if I put something in my handbag, I'll never see it again. And I'm not going to do that with like a £40 lip balm. So yeah, ultimately, I really like what I purchased. The NARS is not going to be for everyone. It's not like the perfect, but I can definitely see me using this when I don't have quite so much dryness going on. Like I say, it's the coolest day of the year as well. It's not a great time for that. In the summer, I think I'm going to get a lot of use from that. The Chanel is just really overpriced, but we know that. We know that, right? No one was expecting anything other than that. So yeah, hopefully this little haul and first impressions was entertaining or useful for you. I will link the things that I purchased and give you the shade names in the description. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!